Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. How on earth have we gotten to 7 wins while being one of the worst Isaac players in history? Let's take a deep breath. J40R PT4D. Luck up. Boomerang. You know what? I look at the stats. I do not like the damage stat, but I will almost always accept a relatively poor damage stat. I mean, there's no causality here, let's be honest, but I'll take a poor damage stat and a decent rate of fire stat in contrast to the opposite. I feel like we finally started to, you know, get out of our whatever slump plus bad habits have been plaguing our Isaac play recently. All right, that's fine. I'll wait. Don't even sweat it, dude. Here we go. Okay, there we go. And I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling good. You know why I'm feeling good? Last night I was playing, yikes. I think we'll take Bob's Rotten Head, but you hate to get the double useless spacebar item game here. I was playing Tetris 99 last night, and as is typical, when I was playing Tetris 99, I was watching something on the old television. A movie from 1998 happened to be on. Movie I haven't seen in a while, but you've probably heard of it. It was probably one of the biggest movies of the year, and spawned a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Well, maybe not, but close. It was popular, at least. Men in Black. And dude, I didn't even realize how many quotes. First off, it had been a long time since I've seen it. It's very 1990s. It's a little dated, but not in a bad way necessarily. Just in a way that it's kind of like, you know, a time capsule of what movies were like back then. It's kind of like Will Smith is almost like, he's like a caricature of Will Smith himself from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like sassy, wisecracking. He's, you know, he's got this beleaguered relationship with Tommy Lee Jones, even though they've barely ever talked to each other. He's just kind of a sassy dude to begin with, but that's not really where I was going with here. What I'm saying is that there's some amazing quotes in that movie. First one, you know, Tommy Lee Jones, he says, "A person is smart. People are dumb." Great quote. A little misanthropic, but, you know, I agree with that. And it's a quote that commonly comes up when people are talking about, you know, like, what's your favorite movie quote? But another one, when he's talking to Vincent D'Onofrio near the end of the movie. Vincent D'Onofrio, of course, in this case, was the alien. He says, you know what my motto is? Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. And I was like, dude, that's another great quote. I know you're like, this guy's waxing philosophical about quotes from a Barry Sonnenfeld film from 1998 that everybody's seen 20 times. That's a good quote. That's all I'm saying. There's some great one-liners in that movie. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Think about that all the time. Mostly in Tetris 99, when somebody starts sending me lines unprovoked, hit them back with a double or triple Tetris, throw in a double T-spin at the end, courtesy of the Tafo tutorial, and all of a sudden, you know, they're, dude, there's nothing I could do. Well, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. Anyway, some people they make fun of me. Because I watch TV instead of, you know, Netflix as much, or Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, or like, you know, other perhaps nefarious online measures. And I understand it's a little bit antiquated, and it's a little bit old school. And I gotta tell you, I mean, I did get sick of seeing the same commercial over and over last night. I hesitate to even bring them up because, by the way, enough champions on this room? Not because I worry about, oh, free advertising. No, it's more like, they're Canadian commercials, so I don't know if they actually have crossed the border to the United States, you know? But, the number of times I saw the Ghost Pepper McChicken commercial last night was ridiculous. Or Ghost Pepper burger, I guess, because the fact that it's beef is actually relevant to the ad. Oh, where'd you get that? The Jables Depot? No, Beef Lovers. I saw a blog about that. Then the guy holds up a McDonald's bag, and he goes, "Are you sure?" And the guy holds up the bag again. Saw it like 20 times. Now, I wasn't really paying attention because I was, you know, in the midst of getting bodied in Tetris 99. But you get the idea. But the reason that I kind of have an attachment to the TV, as bizarre as it sounds, is a little phenomenon, and this is a tough call, but, you know, great items nonetheless. It's a little phenomenon by the name of option paralysis. Are you familiar with option paralysis? It's the idea that given... people, let's rephrase it, because, you know, for the most part, it's not like I invented this phenomenon, you know? So I might as well just explain it in a way that makes sense to me. The more choices you give people, the more likely they are to be overwhelmed and make no choice at all, you know? And I find option paralysis all the time. I mean, I see it in the real world all the time. I was talking about it recently, the Coca-Cola freestyle machine. I think that's a perfect example. A lot of people get overwhelmed. Not overwhelmed like emotionally, but just like cognitively. They're like, I have to make the right decision, and there's 95 soda choices on the Coca-Cola freestyle machine. So, you know, slows down the throughput. My whole life is not based around efficiency, believe it or not. I just think it's suboptimal design. Another example, Netflix. You know, for me, I went through probably a 3 or 4 month period where I would go to Netflix and, you know, I'd be like, I got half an hour before bed. I want to watch something. And then I'd spend 29 minutes scrolling, new releases, what's popular, what's trending, you know, new releases in the comedy, romance, cooking genre, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I just go, I don't even want to watch anything. I spend 29 minutes just looking at title cards for stuff I'm not even going to watch. And by the way, please resist the notion. Whose fault is that? I already solved the problem myself. We have cable TV because we're 100 years old. You go to the TV, it's almost a freeing experience. Now, if you were like, hey, you got to give up cable or you got to give up Netflix, I would give up cable in a heartbeat. Probably. I don't know. For sports, it's a little tricky. You know, especially if you want to watch them legally. I appreciate the fact that, you know, tonight at 10:55 p.m. I can just turn on TSN and watch the qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix and see if I actually like Formula One or if I just like drama. But yeah, I would probably take Netflix. I mean, it's a fraction of the cost. Is it a better service? Yes and no, but it's definitely, you get more bang for your buck to an extreme degree, I would say. But there's something about turning on the TV and it's like, hey, there's only 35 things, and you already know, like, 10 of them are the news, and by the time I watch TV, 6 of the channels are playing Jimmy Kimmel, you know, 4 of the channels are playing Stephen Colbert, none of them are playing Conan, which means I ain't watching it, and, you know, you very quickly, you're like, okay, these are the 4 best things on right now. This is what I'm going to watch. I don't know. It's honestly... I wish you hadn't done that, but that's okay. Honestly, I find it freeing. Because at the end of the day, you know, I got other things going on in my life. I'm not really super worried about making sure that I maximize my television watching experience in the background while also playing the world's greatest free-to-play game of 2019. Okay, not what I'm looking for, but that's fine. It's just sometimes and I've espoused this belief before about different things, like, and I don't think everybody is like me. I think there's people that, whether correctly or incorrectly, are like, the number one thing for me is breadth of selection. You know, the number of choices matters a lot to me. And I mean, it does. That was very dumb of me. It does for me to a point, you know. I don't want to buy, you know, a television service that has one thing on. That's, a little bit needlessly reductive, in my personal opinion. And may I say that it seems like you're arguing from a position of bad faith, if that's what you tried to falsely equate my beliefs to in this situation. Can't believe we dodged it. Okay, we're free. Dude, 3 items and 3 decent items. I'm a happy man. That makes it even better. But I'm not one of those people. I don't even know what I look for in a service. Existence is a big one. As long as it exists, I guess I'll evaluate it. But for me, it's like, you know, if I could, well, let me put it this way. I have the same thing for lunch every single day, unless I'm out. Okay? Here's what I have for lunch. And people have been trying to explain to me ways to improve this for months. Okay? You think it's my first decade on planet Earth? I'm aware of how you could improve what I'm eating. But it's a balance of, you know, nutrition, taste, to some extent. Onsus, Barcano, okay. And convenience. That really, it gets 4 lovers cards. Well, we don't have HP, so I can't, but that's fine. Basically, I take a tortilla. I either buy pre-cooked chicken breast or, you know, on the weekends I cook a bunch of chicken breast myself. I put it in the center of the tortilla. Usually I'll put a little bit of cheese in there, and then I maybe a little, like a condiment, but I'm telling you, sometimes it's just the chicken and the tortilla. I roll it up in burrito style. I consume it in like under 5 minutes. What's hilarious to me, and if you'll allow me to get on my soapbox temporarily, is that people will lecture me and be like, well, I can't believe you can't live your whole life just worried about the efficiency and convenience of consuming something. You know, sometimes you gotta stop and smell the roses. I was smelling the roses, policing my lunch choice for half an hour in Twitch chat. I didn't realize that's what smelling the roses meant. We should probably take teleport, even though it's something I do not want. Just because Bob's Rotten Head is definitely worse. I eat it because it's fast. That's the big thing. Usually, the space I have between recording and, between recording videos and starting a stream usually gives me less than 20 minutes for lunch. I'm aware, you know, I've done more substantial meal prep in the past and will probably do it in the future as well. But this is a really convenient meal to consume. I like the taste of it. It's good for you. It's got a decent amount of protein involved. And, I mean, above all else, I like the melange of taste and convenience, to put it in the most snobby way possible. So I think, like, for me, sometimes I'm like, dude, I don't care what I'm eating for lunch, just give it to me. You know? I'm not good. When I look at a menu, and I'm not saying everybody should live their life. That must be a seed, I guess. I see that it did say Nicholas, but, I'm not saying everybody should live their life like this. I'm just saying if you're like me, you know, feel free, come on out of the shadows, dude. We're in this together. Yo, what is happening? I'm the kind of person when I look at... I don't like a restaurant with a big menu. Not just for kitchen nightmares reasons. But, for the most part, I'm like... you know, this is too many options. How am I supposed to believe that if you have this many options on your menu... I mean, it just makes it harder to find what I would describe as the right decision, I guess. So for me, if a menu has like 100 items, whatever. If a menu has 6 items, that's fantastic. What if you don't like any of those 6 things? Well, go to freaking Cheesecake Factory then, okay? They got a 9-page menu. If you get 6 entrees from a restaurant, you can't figure out which one you'd like to have the most. Start eating more diverse foods, or stop coming to, you know, La Chaîne Noire or whatever the heck it is. You gotta know your audience. That was a convenience play there. Anyway, I'm just saying, dude. I'm an option paralysis guy. I like to. It might surprise you. But when it comes to incredibly trivial things in my life, I'm a man of action. When I, you know, the classic caricature of a modern relationship, there's a tweet I love. It's a very well-crafted tweet, in my opinion. As a connoisseur, or even a sommelier of bite-sized tweets, this is a great one. It said, marriage is just asking one person what you want to have for dinner every day until one of you dies. It's just funny, but it is also, I mean, I have a conversation with my wife every day. What do you want to have for dinner? And I feel like, I don't want to say a pariah, but it's a source of conflict for some people's relationships. Not really for mine. What do I want to eat for dinner? I want my wife to eat whatever she wants for dinner, and if she has no preference, I will pick something, and if she says yes to it, that's what we're having. I'm not interested in fighting a petty war over, you know, what I'm gonna put in my mouth for, you know, a 550 calorie dinner, alright? I'm invested in getting in and out of the dinner making process as quickly as possible. So if my wife says, let's go get ramen, I'm like, you know what? Fantastic. Very rarely, she'll tell you this too. It's probably like once every, I don't know, once every 10 suggestions maybe. I'll be like, usually it's like, my wife loves sushi. I also love sushi. I only want to eat it like a maximum of once a week. And I know that sounds hoity-toity. You just got, we live in a sushi city, okay? It's like, if you were like, you know, I eat barbecue twice a week, I would also think that's hoity-toity, because barbecue here is like $25 a plate and it kind of sucks. But if you live in North Carolina, you know, do as the Romans do. If you live in Vancouver, you're probably going to eat sushi a few times a month. If you enjoy sushi, at least. But anyway, sometimes they'll be like, we just had sushi 2 days ago. I would rather have something else. And then she'll be like, you know, what do you think about going out for sushi? And I'm like, you know what? When you put it that way, it sounds nice. Oh, I didn't mean to hit it. I literally rested my finger on the keyboard, thought it was on W, hit Q accidentally. There was nothing I could do, dude. I'm just happy to eat. I know there's dozens of us out here. We just keep our mouths shut at all times. Because anytime... Look, I've had some terrible meals in my life. And I will never tell anybody about them ever again. One time, it was like... Man, it wasn't 4 years ago. It was probably like 2 or 3 years ago. Kate went away to Japan for a week. She was at Tokyo Game Show. I said to myself, you know what would be... Yeah, I've never tried this... I'm kind of feeling nachos, but I don't have tortilla chips. All I have are shredded cheese and hard shell tacos. So I put the shredded cheese inside of a hard shell taco, I microwaved it, and then I ate it. And I told Stream about it. I'll never do it again. You know why? Because now for the rest of, like, anytime I mention a meal, people are like, yeah, but you're the dude. Oh, you like escargot, huh? Well, that's pretty rich coming from the guy who ate the hard taco shell full of shredded cheese. It's not that I can't cook. It is not that I don't like good food. I just wanted to give it a try to see if it could be like a makeshift nacho. And it didn't work out. I didn't do it again. Because I went, this is garbage. You'd have to be a fool to make this a second time. But I tried it out once, you know? Meanwhile, half the people making fun of me for the hard shell taco thing have just like not eaten all day because they're lazy. And they're like, look at this guy. Do you ever think about making your own homemade salsa to put on the hard shell taco instead? Anyway, I'm just saying. Part of and I haven't done an I'm old bit in a while, so give me a second to make this one work, okay? Part of being in my 30s, it's been a golden age for me so far. YouTube's going well, Twitch is going well. You know, I'm working on my own, you know, physical and mental health. I feel like I'm in a good place, and a big part of that has been, you know, being true to myself. And recognizing, you know, that as dude, we've been D4ing too much lately. I'm sticking with what we got here. We got a good run. If anything, the D4 is likely to make it better. So, if anything, I'm only hurting myself. There's nothing I could do, dude. Stop. We're safe. Back at us. And one thing that's, you know, if you're giving me a would you rather spend 30 minutes or even 15 minutes making a nice lunch? Whether that's, you know, heating up something you cooked earlier in the week and then, you know, taking some time to eat it, or, you know, you're instead of just having a sandwich that you slap together in 2 minutes, you know, you take the time to put the sandwich in the toaster oven so it gets all nice and toasty. Or would you rather have a lunch that tastes decent that I can make and eat in 5 or 10 minutes? I'm taking the 5 or 10 minutes every time I'm at least on a working day, you know? Now, on my day off, I'll let you know, I'm looking forward to, we got this Instant Pot. Last week we had an amazing Japanese curry that made way too many servings. This weekend I'm excited. I'm gonna make, you know, maybe some chili in the Instant Pot. It's gonna take a bit. I mean, with chili it's mostly like ingredient prep and then just watching something simmer for as long as you can stand and not eat it. It's not that I have a disrespect for that sort of game plan. It's just that, you know, on a day where I got other things on the go, I'm not interested in spending more time than is necessary just to get food inside of my body. Now, dinner, I mean, I spent like 40 minutes cooking dinner last night. I was happy to do it because I got to watch a little bit more of that Formula One documentary on Netflix. It's not like I'm just over here, you know, swallowing fish oil pills and multivitamins and eating grilled chicken. You know, I have a respect for the sanctity of food. No joke, haven't I said it many times? Eating is like one of my favorite leisure activities. It sounds like a caricature of somebody else, I guess, but it's true, dude. One of my favorite things to do is eat, whether it's at home or at a restaurant or whatever. But you know, I just feel I feel gaslighted over this whole chicken tortilla business, dude. It works. I'm not even touching on the irony of you watching my stream for 8 hours making fun of me for eating the utilitarian lunch. We can work on each other here. Anyway, this whole episode has been focused on the concept of Operation Paralysis. Perthro? Yeah. Some people are different. And I got an incredible amount of tolerance for that. If you're one of those people who wants to take 45 minutes to figure out what they're going to eat for dinner on a nightly basis, doesn't bother me. If you feel better having the confidence that you've chosen the perfect meal, you know, you've been craving cabbage rolls all day, and then you run it by, you know, your significant other. You want to get cabbage rolls tonight? And they go, oh, I was thinking the same thing. You make reservations at the, you know, the Dutch restaurant, and then you go and you have some cabbage rolls, and you're like, this was a good idea. There's a great amount of tranquility in that. I think we can definitely afford this as well. And, you know, it feels good, right? But some days, I don't know, you can't, don't take this as like I'm beleaguered with the Twitch audience. If anything, I'm the only dude out there who understands the Twitch audience. But for for Twitch, you gotta recognize that there are some situations in which you just have to accept that as a streamer, your actions are public, and all public actions are gonna be subject to criticism. If you eat a quick lunch as a streamer, people go like, wow, look at this guy. All he cares about is eating his lunch fast, doesn't take any joy in life, even though I get, you know, if anything, I take a great amount of joy out of a simple chicken tortilla. So which one of us is the one that takes no joy? If I can find joy in the sight of a smiling dog or something as simple as grilled chicken breast inside of a flatbread. You gotta eat all these fancy mustards just to feel alive. Which one of us is truly happy? Anyway, and if you go, oh, well, I spent 6 hours on my lunch today making a high-roasted chicken from a recipe that I saw on America's Test Kitchen. People would be like, it must be nice to be a streamer. Have so much time to make your lunch. Now, many reasonable people amongst you are probably going, well, there's a difference. You know, there's a bit of a middle ground between spending hours and hours cooking a meal for lunch every single day and taking literally 5 seconds to cook a meal every single day. To which the wise man bows his head solemnly and says, you fools, there is absolutely no difference. Drill, 2014. Judgment. No thank you, judgment. Anyway, I'm just saying, stop making fun of me for my chicken tortillas, okay? For many reasons, one of which is that is helping me fuel my goals for personal health. My goals for personal health have very, very little to do with vanity. You will not see me posting pictures of myself in my underwear in the mirror if I get jacked. Above all else, I have many messages I have for my audience. One of them is, please don't care so much about the minutia of my personal life. You know, it's not like I can't go outside without people being like, no. I'm just saying, like, you know, if people are like, you waiting on progress pictures or something like that, don't worry about it. Go, instead of waiting for the progress pictures, go read a T.S. Eliot poem. Well, let's both enrich our lives as a result here. I'm a freaking nobody. Believe you me, I'm flattered that people would care about that sort of stuff, and to some extent, I'm flattered that people would pry. But simultaneously, I'm a Joe Schmo, dude. Don't contribute to the glorification of YouTubers' lives, man. I was about to say we're trash, which is not really what I meant, but it's kind of the spirit of what I meant. It's not that we're trash, it's just that we're not elevated above the average person. And I don't know, I feel like some people forget that. Not just the YouTubers themselves. Alright, we should get Bookworm. None of these give us the ability to fly, unfortunately, so we'll go like, okay, and honestly, maybe I'd rather have Book of Shadows. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. We're totally set. So when I bring up the fitness, just, you know, it's not to be like, oh, dude, my quads are rippling. You know, that's a very... I mean, I was going to say as a young man's view of the world, but I think that... I mean, I worked with a dude in Asia who was, like, in his early to mid-30s, and he was really into working out, and, you know, that's cool. But then he was like... I mean, he was an English teacher, right? And he would talk to us and be like, dude, I think I'm going to buy steroids online. And we'd be like, don't do that. Being an ESL teacher in Asia is kind of like being a YouTuber. Where whenever you see someone about to do some really, really dumb stuff that's going to reflect poorly on all of you, you go, hey, could you not? Like, I wouldn't have thought that being 11 years younger than this man, I would have to be the voice of reason and be like, maybe don't buy sketchy steroids online, you know? If you get busted for it, I mean, first off, it's probably bad for your own personal health, but you're living kind of a reckless life to begin with. But secondarily, you know, if you get busted for that, you know what the headline is, you know, American English teacher, get away from me. American English teacher gets busted buying illegal drugs online, you know? And then every time the rest of us go out in public, people are giving you sidelong glances, and you're going, do they think I'm, you know, buying illegal drugs online? Dude, this is so weird. I guess our boss fight, I mean, we could just use Onsus, but yeah, there was only one place for it anyway. Mind you, it is, you know, at the end of the day, it's his life. He could do whatever he wants, but he would always show us progress pictures of himself, and we'd be like, I mean, dude, you're jacked. I can't deny it. It's not like he loved working out but was out of shape. Like, he was in incredible shape, and he put in the time. But he was clearly in it for vanity, and there's nothing wrong with that, I suppose, you know? I mean, and this is a weird topic to get into so close to the end of the video, but like, you know, it was probably 2014 or 2015. My doctor was like, hey, dude, you're like 26, 27. You have high blood pressure. What's up? And I'm like, yeah, I read a lot of anonymous feedback online. And he's like, okay, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but like, if you can get that blood pressure down, that'd be sick. Because otherwise, you're just going to explode one day like that one dude in Big Trouble in Little China. It's like, okay, fair enough. And then, you know, this year, went to the optician, and the optician was like, hey, dude, you probably don't have glaucoma, and thankfully, it appears that I do not, after taking the Glock test. But he was like, you know, it correlates with high blood pressure. You know, it's the realization that, you know, as I get older, and particularly being in an industry where things are so sedentary and you're incentivized to spend, you know, as much time as you can sitting in a chair, which is, to be fair, does describe just about every industry in a service-based economy. But simultaneously, you know, it's a bit of a wake-up call. I'm doing it for me. I like me. I want to live a long life and a happy life as well. And I hope you do too. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. That's our 8th win in a row. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!